Welcome, parents, to the New Hope Solebury Middle School overview presentation for the upcoming school year. As you received the letter from me yesterday and this afternoon to go over all of the different choices within the middle school, we want to provide you a full comprehensive overview of programming, whether your child is going into 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade. Of course, different components of the presentation are grade level specific, but we want to give you the information that you need to understand which elective that your child is going to select for next year, and also some upcoming changes within the middle school. I'm Dr. Eric Pedersen, the principal here at the middle school. You're not seeing my face right now because we want you to be able to see the presentation, but I look forward to meeting you in person. Sitting with me right now is our assistant principal, Mr. Anthony Barth, our school counselor, Mrs. Susan Schimpf, Mr. Sam Paglione, who is one of our student support staff members as well. One person who's not a part of the presentation today is Mrs. Kristen Golden, our social worker, but you'll have plenty of opportunities to meet with her. So kicking things off, I just wanted to review some of the more recent accolades that the middle school has recently received. A couple years ago, we had the National Blue Ribbon Award in the 2022 and 23 school year. A ton of work went into that process, but really it was the work of our staff. That highlighted the academic excellence process. And then more recently, the Schools to Watch recognition, which you may have heard about through communication in the district. That was a year-long process of the middle school, going through a full audit process, the things that are going extremely well, some of the areas that we needed to highlight to potentially improve or grow in. But overall, this places us in the top 1% of middle schools throughout the country. It also adds our name to a list of potential other middle schools out there in the country that would like to come visit us to explore programming and adopt any programming on their end. So really excited that we've been recognized for this award. It does cover 4 criteria areas that you can see on the screen: academic excellence, developmental responsiveness, social equity, organizational structures and procedures. And there's 37 criteria areas under these 4 domains. All right, getting into the master schedule of the middle school. And if you have a rising 6th grader and you've never been a part of the building before, there's not an older sibling, there are some changes to the middle school schedule that went into place recently and for next year. So first things first, we have new programming that has gone in place called advisory. We used to have just a typical homeroom period where kids would enter the building for the first 5 minutes of the day. They would check in for homeroom, attendance would be taken, and then they would go to first period. We have found a ton of value in providing a soft start to the day for all of our students. So students enter the building at the middle school at 7:50 a.m. They are in their advisory classroom, and they're there until 8:12. All students are placed in a specific advisory. There's about 12 to 14 students in each advisory. Every staff member in the building is considered an advisor. They have anywhere from 12 to 14 kids in that room, and that's the go-to person for your child throughout the school year. There's no academic programming there other than maybe specific SEL lessons or anything for team building relations. We did structure the week. So for instance, Mondays are Map It Out Mondays, where students take out their agenda. They map out their week ahead. Tuesdays are really important to us. They're Tech Tuesdays. It's for students to jump into different software that we use and different programming so that we have up-to-speed diagnostics there as far as ELA and math goes for your children. It's really important to our MTSS process, which we'll get into in a little bit. Wednesday through Friday is where the fun jumps in for the kids. There's a lot of flexibility there between the advisor and that small group of students. We have Wellness Wednesdays, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be that day. We have students who may just want to go for a walk with their advisor. We have yoga that's offered in the morning as well, board games. It's just a soft start time for students to kind of set their day up for success. We've seen a lot of success this school year. Thank you to Mrs. Heather Derby and Mrs. Betsy Halsey for putting together a lot of those lesson plans. They've done a fantastic job. Okay, so jumping in after homeroom and advisory, you can see along the period numbers on the left side of the screens, there's the 7th and 8th grade specials and electives, and you're seeing that all the way throughout. The only ones that are important to you are the grade level that your child is going into. For instance, if I have a 6th grade child, I'd be looking at periods 4 and period 7. Those are the only periods that are a little bit different than the rest. Every grade level has 5 core subjects. That includes their ELA class, their math class, science, social studies, and then for 7th and 8th grade, their 5th core is the world language course. For 6th grade, it's 6th grade academy, which is a few units of ELA, a few units of math, and other important items within that course, which you'll get into a little bit later. So again, first period starts off, 6th grade is in their core classes, periods 1, 2, and 3, and then they head into their special rotation. They're back again for a core class in 5th period. Lunchtime for the entire building occurs from 11:58 until 12:28, and then we're back to classes 6, 7, and 8. The only difference there, 6th period is our academic win period. It's a 30-minute class period where students can either get a jump on homework, go see a teacher where they might need additional support. It's also a really important time to our MTSS processes because that's where our intervention teams jump into place. And I'll allow Mr. Barth to get into some of those details later in the presentation. You'll see later on as well, after this slide, where you notice the PE elective for your child's grade level. We operate on an A-B day schedule. So one day is an A day, the next day is a B day. If your child has phys ed on A day, they will go see their elective teacher on B day. And that's the selection that we will need from you and your child here within the coming days. All right, so exploring the elective options. In the letter that I'm sending home, you will see a list of links where each teacher has recorded a course overview for their specific course. So you will see band, orchestra, choir, studio art, and STEAM 7 will each have their own link. So that way you can hear from the teacher's voice themselves exactly what that course may be about and entail. At the 6th grade level, there are 4 choices. There's band, orchestra, choir, or studio art. Things open up a bit more once you hit 7th grade. Once you get to 7th grade or an 8th grader, you will now have the choice of STEAM. There's some engineering components there. There's graphic design components, and you're able to work in the STEAM wing with Mr. Gosser at that level. But for the incoming 6th graders, you do need to make a choice of one of the 4. Incoming 7th and 8th, you have options of 5. The brief course descriptions are here, but the lengthier descriptions are in the links recording that are in the letter. World language electives. So things have changed just a bit here in the world language tracks. In recent curriculum advisory committees, the world language department has made a minor shift. All 6th graders will take in their special rotation language exploration. This is an exploration of the Spanish culture, the French culture, and also gives the students kind of a taste of both so that they can make an informed decision in 7th grade. Once 6th grade is over, they can choose, do they want to go into Foundations French A or Foundations Spanish A? You either have, you choose one or the other. Following 7th grade, that teacher will make a recommendation. So for those students who have Foundations A in 7th grade, that teacher will decide, is that child ready for true French 1 or Spanish 1, or should they remain in Foundations B to gain more knowledge before heading into French or Spanish 1 as a 9th grader at the high school. There's a letter going out from Mrs. Bollinger that will describe all of those details as well, so you can make that informed decision. But if you do have a 7th grade student, that recommendation is going to come directly from that teacher. 8th grade, that elective has already happened for high school. 6th grade, you will also make that, 6th grade students will make that choice heading into 7th grade, whether they want French or Spanish. That will also come on Monday, Tuesday next week, along with choosing their elective. Okay, now moving on to our MTSS overview framework and implementation, and I'm going to turn it over to our assistant principal, Mr. Anthony Barth.
Hi, everybody. I'm Anthony Barth. I am the assistant principal for the middle school, and I also serve the high school as well in that same capacity. So just to give you an idea of what MTSS is, and to give you some insight as to how we use that system here at the middle school to help benefit your children. So MTSS stands for Multi-Tiered Systems of Support. It is a multilateral framework that is comprised of a collaboration of professionals throughout the building, administrators, teachers, support staff members, guidance counselor, social worker. And essentially what we do is we use data in order to identify students who might be in need of more support, whether it's in math or ELA. and give them the supports they need in order to be more successful in their classes. We essentially take a look at different data points that we use. Some are technology driven, some is input from teachers, can be input from parents as well, just to get a sense of what students might need and then to be able to provide them with what they need in order to be successful. So you'll see that there are different levels of support. So for just to go over one of the levels of support that we have, to start off with, level one, tier one level of support is essentially those skills that all students have. It's best practices in the classroom. It's what teachers are going to implement every single day to make sure that students are getting what they need, and that they are successful in their classes. When we get the sense that students may need a little bit more support, we might elevate them to a tier 1.5, which essentially is a structured academic period. So that sixth period of their day, their win period. Students might then be scheduled to go to various classrooms with teachers who might need them to go over some missing assignments, to work on some skills possibly in those classrooms. And we would structure that in accordance with the teachers and what the students need to make sure that they're getting all the supports they need. Beyond that, there is also tier two. If a student is in tier two, then we would take a look at the data that we have for those students and try to identify areas of need based on the data that we have. If students are in need of extra support with turning in assignments, we send them to a tier two support in order to give them the opportunity to make up those assignments. If they need skill development, we send them to tier two for a period of time, whether it's 4 to 6 weeks, looking at data over the course of that, making sure that we have goals for those students as well, so we can track those goals with the data and try to see if those students are achieving those goals, with the hope to be able to eventually kind of exit them from those goals when they've achieved them and implement them back into their classroom. And again, that would take place during their sixth period. So the important thing to know about MTSS essentially is that it is all data driven, and all the different metrics that we use in order to make sure that data is taken and is implemented is used to make sure that students get what they need in order to be more effective and learn the skills they need to be successful in the classroom.
All right, thank you, Mr. Barth. Okay, going to continue on with our presentation. Going to jump into the extracurricular activities available here at the middle school. As you know, we have an athletic program here that spans grades 7 and 8. Sixth graders are not able to participate in official school athletics. That is not a New Hope Solebury decision. That's a Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association decision, also known as PIAA. PIAA eligibility does not start until 7th grade year, where those students will be able to participate in the sport of their choice if interested. We do have other clubs available for 6th grade. VEX is off and running, as it always has been. And then there's also a running club that is led by our track and field coach. We're very lucky that the high school track and field program actually comes down to support that 6th grade running club. So again, there's a lot more information to come as far as extracurricular activities goes. We also have tons of clubs and organizations that are available to our students, and that ranges from the art committee, which was with Mrs. Wisniewski and Mrs. Diacon. And once we have different events coming up throughout the school year, they plan to ensure that all of our pods are looking the way that we want to celebrate the school. Again, some other clubs: art club, drama club. We have student council and environmental club. Performing arts is off and running. We have our musical coming up here in just a short time. And then, of course, community service is always one thing that we integrate within all of our programming. We have our Day of Giving day that's coming up towards the end of the year, and we are looking to expand this so that we can give back to our community. Now I'm going to turn it over to our school counselor, Mrs. Susan Schimpf, so she can just go over some of the available programming and just a general overview of student services here in the middle school.
Hi, I'm Susan Schimpf. I'm the school counselor. My role is to support all students in their academic, social, and emotional growth, and I'm here to help ensure a smooth transition for both students and families. As your child begins their journey here, please know that I'm available to assist with any questions or challenges they may face. I look forward to working with you and your family to create a positive and successful experience in school. We have a team that we really work collaboratively with, so if there's any concern that should arise, please contact us at any time. We really want to work as a team approach. I work very closely with Mrs. Golden, our social worker, as well as Mr. Paglione, so we can offer a variety of different supports. So please reach out at any time.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Schimpf. So I'm going to turn it over in just a second to Mr. Paglione. But before I do, I wanted to just let you know that we have one program that we've piloted and we've seen a ton of success through our MTSS behavioral side of our programming, also known as our chill out space. We are very fortunate in this district to be able to go out and visit other districts to see what great work is happening out there, not just in the state, but also across the country. And one item that really caught our attention is a tier 1 support regarding behaviors. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Paglione to describe what that space looks like, but it is our chill out space.
Hi everyone, this is Sam Paglione. So I will give a brief overview of this chill space and kind of its purpose and the who, what, where, why behind it. So the chill space is a mindful, calming area within our school where students can go to unwind and de-stress and refocus before going back to class. So it's designed really to support their mental and emotional well-being, especially during those tougher days when they just need a short break. So who's it for? It's open to all students. As Dr. Pedersen mentioned, it's part of the tier 1 support system we have here in the middle school. So no matter who you are, or what kind of day you're having, you're welcome to visit the space. I will be the staff member in the room, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with each student individually and supporting however best I can. Again, the chill space is a calming environment. It's filled with some stress-relieving resources. So there's soft lighting, there's cozy seating, soothing music, and other relaxing decor. I have things like puzzles and fidgets and other mindfulness activities. And these are all just tools to help you feel grounded and relaxed before students head back to class. The chill space is upstairs, right by the 600 pod. So 6th grade students who will be new to the building, it will be closer to them. So that will help them navigate the building and find me as needed. And each advisory will come and visit the space early in the school year, just so students are familiar with where it is. And that way they know where to find me when they need to find me. And just a few more things. So when can students go? They can visit as long as I am in the room. So students can ask their teachers for a pass to visit, or sometimes teachers may suggest the students to come and visit with me. Just as long as they're accounted for within the building, they're more than welcome to come and visit. And lastly, just why is it there? Just because taking breaks throughout the day is important. It can help students to stay focused and boost their academic performance and their behaviors. And so the chill space is really there just to give them the chance to step away and regroup and come back feeling more energized and ready to learn.
Thank you, Mr. Paglione. So on that same note, the partnership with our parents and community is what makes our middle school thrive here. So we do have our parent-teacher group, our leadership team, our PTG team, and that does consist of a group of folks who meet on a monthly basis to explore different ways to support our programming here, fundraising efforts to support a lot of that programming. As of late, we've had a middle school community social that demonstrated a world of success from a financial standpoint to be able to support some of that programming, but also just the camaraderie within the middle school community. We also have tons of community connections. We have classroom visitors that will visit for different curricular needs. We also have our SWIBIS programming, which is our school-wide positive behavioral intervention system. And we have partnerships down in the New Hope Borough, which is a luxury to our school district to have several businesses just a walk away. So when we notice that students are doing a fantastic job, we'd love to reward them. And sometimes we bring the kids down to either Russo's Pizza, any other restaurants that we can for an extended lunch to celebrate some of the great work that they're doing here. Of course, we have our field trips throughout the building and the ongoing communication regarding any events in the school. We love to keep that open dialogue to ensure that our parents and community are well informed of anything that's going on within our school district. Just a couple of other notes here before we wrap up. We are a phoneless building in a sense. Our students, of course, are allowed to bring their phones to school. When they do enter the building, they should be turned off and put in their book bags, and we have all students store their phones in their locker throughout the entire school day. We've seen a great response from that from our students, less distractions in class. We are also aware that the wearable watches, smart watches, are also out there. We are okay with them wearing those watches within the middle school, and they're not a problem until they become a problem, right? And so if we have to warn a student more than once, we'll ask them to keep that watch within their locker with their phone. Also, locks on lockers is a big deal to us. We want to make sure that every student in the building does have a lock on their locker. We do give the flexibility of students and families to go out and purchase their own lock that might work best for their child, or we can also provide a lock for your child as well. We do recommend the old school silver and black master locks there. It's the ones with the black dial. We do have a master set of keys, so if anyone ever forgets that lock, we can open it up for them. Sometimes some of the newer locks that are out there with the fingerprints and all the fancy items that are out there, we just don't have the keys to access those. I do recommend for our rising sixth graders, those parents should purchase those locks, or they can obtain one here from the office if they would like, and some practice over the summertime might relieve some of that stress. In closing, I just want to thank you all for your partnership here within the New Hope Solebury Middle School. We have a lot of upcoming exciting events to celebrate. Any rising sixth graders, they will have their tours of the building as well as an open house for parents and students to start the school year next year, and you'll receive more information to come. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Barth, our assistant principal, our school counselor, Mrs. Schimpf, and Mr. Paglione, who's also a part of our student services team. We wish you well. Thank you.